Asked about who is really the daddy. In this program, we follow 4 families who have decided to find out the truth about their children or their father by taking a DNA paternity test.
I'm not looking for another father. I have all I want in my dad. So it's really just a question of, is he or isn't he, and that's sort of it.
Experts in the paternity testing industry say as many as 1 in 7 Brits are mistaken about who they think of as their biological father.
We live at a time when transparency is considered a good thing, that openness, honesty, truth are above everything else. Not necessarily the case, that ignorance can be a lot of bliss, and this new, I suppose, genetic lie detector test, the DNA testing culture we live in, is opening a Pandora's box. These are things that in many ways, I suppose, are unnatural to know, and yet once we can know, we have to peek and look. And once we look, there's a price to pay, and we're going to find out what that price is. The price will be different for different families, but there is a big price tag.
And Jennifer deals with what she overheard her mother say about her father on the phone.
Most of the women that come to us are not deliberately duping their partners. They genuinely believe that these people are the fathers of their children. And it's not a case of people being manipulative and telling lies. They genuinely believe that they know who the father of their child is, even if they've been having relations with 2 people at around the same time.
Later in the programme, Leanne and Andrew get the results of their DNA test. Jennifer knows that for 36 years, she may have been wrong about who her father is. She recently overheard her mother on the phone confessing to an affair.
It's quite a big house, and I was in one of the rooms and overheard her on the phone to my aunt and just saying about, you know, when she conceived me and basically whether I was mixed anyway, which is the dad that I knew I'd grown up with. And it was a bit more elaborate, but I think that's all I could really hear. I couldn't take much more in. 36 years ago, my mother put an advert in a newspaper as a single person, and she corresponded with this chap called John, who wrote to her a few times, sent photographs, and she arranged to meet him at King's Cross, which is quite apt, isn't it, really? Sorry.
I don't think I really thought about getting pregnant. I mean, we sat and had drinks, and after a long while of not probably being relaxed, having 3 children, and suddenly I'm out, you know, having a bit of fun, talking to a good-looking man, and, you know, having a gin or something. And I didn't think about it. It didn't cross my mind.
He was always, I'm not sure if he's still there, he was a professor of mathematics at Cambridge. And she had a drink, went back to his flat, just got chatting, and basically ended up making love.
Women tend to think that they're less likely to become pregnant after they have a one-night stand. But there are some scientists who now believe that that's not actually the case. The opposite is true, that strangers are more likely to fertilize you if you are unfaithful, particularly during the middle of the month, than your own husband. And that's not what people want to hear, but that could very well be the biological reality.
So Jennifer has decided to ask the loving father who brought her up to do a DNA paternity test.
She had tears in her eyes because she was put in a situation where she wanted to find something out for herself. And she had tears in her eyes, and she didn't know whether I would do it or not. And I said, "That's okay, Jen, go ahead, do it." And so that love bonding is there, you know, so no one can really change that, really, can they?
It's a very difficult subject to bring up, isn't it, for anyone? Being a dad is something so special, and the dad that I grew up with is the most important person for me in my life, because he's always been there for me and for my children.
Jennifer knows that there is a very strong chance that she is the daughter of a complete stranger.
It's funny to think being the daughter of a maths professor when I'm not very good at maths. It's a very interesting thought. What similarities would we have and what interests, and would we hit it off? But who knows? He might be the most boring, self-centered person there. He might be good at maths, but that might be anything he's ever focused on in his life. Or he might be absolutely wonderful. Or he might not exist.
And her suspicions aren't helped by the fact that she's always felt different.
With my siblings, I did feel different. I suppose I was a bit nerdish, to be honest. I used to get picked on school a lot. If I had time off school, I'd come back and soon catch up. I just was very passionate about learning things. And the others were more into boyfriends and going to discos and things. And all my siblings had very olive skin, very dark hair, and all very sort of darky brown, browny greeny eyes. And, you know, particularly a few of my sisters, we used to just joke they belonged to someone else because they couldn't belong to my mum or to me because of their skin tone.
Later in the programme, Jennifer finds out if she is the result of her mother's affair. Jennifer finds out whether Mick is her father or whether she needs to track down a maths professor her mother had an affair with 36 years ago. Experts in the paternity testing industry say that as many as 1 in 7 of us are wrong about our biological father. British women today average 4 sexual partners in a lifetime, whereas 10 years ago it was 2. Unsurprisingly, DNA paternity testing in the UK has become big business. Around the time of her conception, Jennifer's mother had an affair, and Jennifer wants to find out if the dad who brought her up is really her dad. Their DNA test results are due back today.
I think the strangest thing today will be, just say I wasn't your dad. You know, I'm not going to go home sad, you know. I should still go home happy. I can still hold my head up high and walk in a straight line, you know. But whatever happens, Jen, you're still my daughter.
That's really sweet of you to say
There you
that.
are. I mean it as well.
I really love you.
Yeah, I know that. I love you, but you're still, whatever happens today, you'll still be my daughter. It doesn't change things, you know what I mean?
You've always been there for me, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And my children.
Yeah, I have.
If the results come back and it is that he's not my dad, it's going to be a huge big shock probably, and I'm not sure quite how I'm going to react. I'm more worried about how he's going to feel and react, because he says he's not put much thought about it and he's not worried, but knowing how he is, he is. Does mean a lot to him, I think. He's also maybe a bit denial there as well, but I think it's not wanting to acknowledge the possibility that, you know, that I have a different dad.
Jennifer and her parents get together to receive the results by email.
I've gone really nervous, and I have this very nervous smile, which I've always had, so I don't know where I've inherited that from, but I'm just logging on and I can see it says from a person's name. I'm hoping it's the right email.
Yeah, it just feels strange that just one little thing can bring me to this, bring us all to this suspense.
Did you want to hear that?
Yeah, go for it.
You are my dad.
No matter. Thought so.
Yeah. This is really good, isn't it? I'm really pleased.
That's good.
I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased for you.
So you're my daughter then?
Yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
So, it's just amazing.
You can say, yes, that's my dad.
So you must have got your brand new dad. Because I
You can say, my dad and my father. Can't you? Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Forgive me.
I feel like a child that's just been shown where the sweet shop is and given an endless amount of money. It's a huge smile I have on my face. And I do feel really happy inside. I think it's really nice for the children as well, because someone that they know and they're familiar with is definitely their granddad, and that's so important as well. And we're a good family unit.
It seems to be part of the human condition that when technology makes something possible, whether it's Viagra or whiter teeth or a breast enlargement or knowing who your real father is, and it becomes cheap, people want it. They want to know, or they want to have. And they want to have nowadays the information about who their real parent is. And if it's made accessible and it's made affordable, people want to know. Particularly something as fundamental, I suppose one of the two most fundamental questions people could ask. Who is my mother and who's my father?